Peace I bequeath to you, my own peace I give you. Now in the RSV, which is closer to the Greek, it goes on, not as the world gives, do I give. And we need therefore to be aware that when the Lord speaks of peace, it is not merely a cessation from hostilities. In Welsh there are actually two words. One is heddwch, which is basically what war is aiming at, cessation of hostilities, made more poetic by the more elevated form of the hair.
Mommy.
But then the other is
Mommy.
only used in a religious context,
Mommy.
tang nevev,
Mama.
and it's that which the Lord is speaking of here. I'd like to zoom into it just for a second because it concerns us all. There is no shortcut to that peace. If you look around, if you look at the average Irish pub over the weekend, you'll find a lot of laughing going on, many decibels of noise, apparent friendship, apparent joy. But is there peace? Anything resembling this peace, the tang nevev form? Probably not. If one engages in conversation with, by now, most people, after a certain time one will pick up there is something missing with regard to inner, deep peace. And the reason is not difficult to find. There is no peace unless the deepest possible level of the soul is in it. Way back in formation in France, the novice master gave us this teaching and put it actually on the blackboard. He was an ex-Jesuit and he was a very good lecturer as well. But this was way back in 1974 when I was first exposed to La Trappe, and I remember the lecture to this day, and I took notes. And he drew this cone, an inverted cone, and he indicated that there are levels in the being, and that when we observe a being, we're observing that wider part. So already we can detect, if we observe certain symptoms and modes of behavior, what may be or may not be deeper down. The truth will out, as they say. So he invited us to go deeper down and to see where the deepest level was. And he taught us that actually it's what he referred to as la fine pointe de l'âme, the fine point of the soul, the essence of the will that meets the Blessed Trinity and consents to the divine and hands over. And do you think that in an Irish pub where much joy is in the air, there is any contact with that deep level? I hardly think so. So how can there be deep peace? Unfortunately, it's no longer just to be identified with the Irish pub, the absence of peace. It can be found even in practicing Christian circles. You can find people officially in prayer mode who actually never go into that depth. And the proof is this. Many people now don't ask the question of whether there's any unfinished business, whether there's any sin not handled, not washed away, specifically in confession. It's rather sad that when it comes to confessing people who don't go to confession much, the less they go, on the whole, the more difficult it is to get a good confession from them. They just are not aware. So multiply that by a life, and by now by a nation, and there's illness around, difficult to heal. people who can't dig. There is actually a verse in the Psalm that talks about it in a different way. It's the one that says, you do not ask for Holocaust and victim, but the actual Hebrew would perhaps be better translated like this. You have excavated a year for me. This excavation of the year also applies to the will. Deep down consent. And actually one also then sees things starting to happen. I go back to the lecture. He indicated how when that then is in complete and total harmony with the divine will, and therefore with the will that rules the cosmos, us included, then all the other levels are affected, including, and he went through them, the manifestations on the level of the face and comportment. A peaceful depth is visible in the reaction and even in the facial expression. That is a peaceful soul. And it also then betrays itself in its authenticity or absence thereof when it comes to what we don't particularly want to see happening. Because our will then is re-engaging, and the test is it or is it not still giving that huge fiat to the divine? If not, then it will be perturbed and we will not have peace. It's actually in our interest, therefore, to dig and to stop existing on the level of our own will. It's called in French la sainte indifférence, holy indifference. And it's the teaching that St. Teresa of Avila gave to her sisters and to the Church. The state of soul that gives greatest glory to its King is the state of the soul that has no other will but the will of God. And all the rest is equal to it, because it only has the manifestation of the will of God as its then indication of the divine will. It just says, yes, a priori, I want only this, Lord, because this is what you see best.